I found out that my husband was addicted to drugs and alcohol. We had no money to survive. I wanted to give up, to end my life. A close acquaintance offered me a small kiosk on the Marina Beach. So on day one, my sale was just a 50 paisa. At that time, even giving up wasn't an option. Today, I can proudly call myself an entrepreneur. Every failed situation will give you something positive. Hi, my name is Patricia Narayan. I'm Director of Prasan Hotels and Hospitality Services. I'm here today to share my story with you. I was 17 when I fell in love with a man who was 18 years older to me. At that time, life was nothing but a bed of roses. While I was still in college, we decided to get married. Even though it was against the wishes of my family, I was very young and in love. I wanted to give it my all. But just a few months after marriage, I realized that the bed of roses had so many thorns to it. I found out that my husband was addicted to drugs and alcohol. We had no money to survive. And on top of that, I was pregnant. I was just 19 at that time. I had no one to go to. It felt like life had closed all doors for me. I wanted to give up, to end my life. But when I found out about my pregnancy, something in me changed. I had to live for my child. I had to do something. I had no professional work experience. For days, I didn't know what to do. But then, I decided to go to something I loved dearly, cooking. Initially, I began making jams and pickles in my kitchen itself. It was a household kitchen, not a commercial kitchen. Even at that time, my husband did nothing. He was lost in the world of addiction and demanded money from me. When I would refuse, he would turn very abusive. Somehow, I would survive it all. I gave birth to my son and somehow managed to provide for me with the help of my family. However, when my son turned 2, things became very difficult. It was tough for me to fend for myself and my child. By that time, I had accepted that my husband wouldn't do anything and I had to fight my battle alone. It was a question of survival for me and my child. A mother could do anything for her child. She can even fight the world. Since I didn't have enough money, a close acquaintance offered me a small kiosk on the Marina Beach. At that time, the kiosks on the beach would sell only tea, coffee, and cigarettes. So, I saw it as a good opportunity to sell snacks. However, when I reached there, I was told I had to get permission from the PWD. Back then, I knew nothing. So with my 2-year-old son in my arms, I went to the secretariat only to be denied permissions. They told me that I would need someone's recommendation, but I had no one to do that for me. And I was adamant. I had gone through so much that at that time, I had decided not to give up. So for the next 1 year, I went to the secretariat every single day without fail, just to show my face to that sir, just to prove how serious I am. So one day, he finally noticed me and called me in his office. When I told him my story, he decided to give me permission for the kiosk. It was finally the beginning of my journey. I poured in the little money I had, bought stuff, worked all day and night to prepare food for my kiosk. Cutlets, French fries, samosas, tea and coffee. I remember the first day I set up my kiosk. People came, but they just looked and went away. No one bought a single thing. Nothing. So on day one, my sale was just a 50 paisa. I had sold only 1 cup of coffee. I can't tell you how disappointing I was. All my excitement and happiness had shattered. I went back home in tears. I felt like giving up. But at that time, even giving up wasn't an option. I showed up every single day, and eventually things got better. After months of hard work, I was able to make rupees 25,000 on a day, which was the highest sale in my business. Remember, when you are consistent and determined about something, it happens. You would often feel like a failure, but the biggest lessons we learn are from the failure itself. Every time you fail, you have to get up and do it again. I always think failures give us much more options and avenues to think about other options. Giving up is never the solution. I was able to sustain my family with my income. By that time, I had also given birth to my daughter, and I had to do something more to provide for both my children. So I ran my kiosk for a few years, and eventually I started taking up catering contracts as well. I did both, and as I worked hard, I got more opportunities. By that time, my kids had grown up, and I had managed to save up some money to branch out into running canteen for a bank and a school. I was consistent. I worked extremely hard. We served food to hundreds of people every day. And finally, I had started getting the fruits of my hard work. So sometime later, with my savings, I got into a partnership with the Sangeeta group of restaurants. You know, I have no formal degree in business. No one taught me the nitty-gritties of business. When I used to meet people and they'll ask me, where did I do my MBA from? I proudly would say, my kiosk at the marina. When you start from the scratch, when you work hard and learn things by yourself, you learn it all. You learn things that no one can teach you. No matter how much money you spend, life is the biggest teacher. Professionally, I was doing good. My business was growing, the income was increasing, my children had grown up, and I had gotten both of them married. But then again, life is not a bed of roses. At every point, it tests you. In 2004, my daughter got married, and exactly a month later, she and her husband met with an accident and lost their lives. I don't have enough words to explain that loss. For a parent, there is no bigger grief than losing a child. I was at my lowest. I was at my worst. I had seen terrible things in my life, but this was the worst. At that time, my son stood by my side like a rock. In those difficult times, he supported me in the business. In life, it's people and relationships and bondings that helps you get ahead. I somehow got in the business again, and this time with more power and more resilience. Just for my daughter, I fought everything that life threw at me. I fell, I got hurt, but I got up. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Today, I can proudly call myself an entrepreneur. I will never forget the day one of my business journey, the day I made 50 paisa. From that day till today, the journey has been incredible. Today, my revenue has gone up, and it's all because of my hard work, determination, and the will to do something. When we have lost something, rather than saying life is not fair, let us start turning our minds to look at new possibilities. When I lost my daughter, I know I cannot get her back, but instead, I wanted to do something which my daughter would be happy if she was around. So, what did I do? I placed an ambulance at that very place where her accident happened. Because when the accident happened, there was no ambulance to serve them. So I had to lose my children, my daughter, and son-in-law. This lockdown during the COVID pandemic has taught me so many new positive avenues. One another thing which I have started is a new YouTube channel which is called Knockout Recipe. In this, I'm sharing all my 35 years of experience in cooking. So people don't get upset on failures. Always look at being positive and look for new avenues. Every failed situation will give you something positive. Rise again from where you fall. Thank you.
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.